Okay, good afternoon and good morning to all of you. Welcome to our Therefore Technical Workshop. Today, our topic is deep dive in the Therefore Content Connector. So for those which is you have a difficulty to listen to us, please let me know over at the chat so that I can assist you while this event continue. So right. So this workshop, it will take about an hour. Okay, you have any questions or if you have any concern or anything that you would like to ask us, you can actually type at the chat or over at the Q&A, and we will answer you as quickly as possible during this session. Okay, so just to let you know that I've already started the recording, and for those which is your colleague may not have a chance to join us due to their scheduled appointment, do not worry about that. They can download from our extranet, and even for you, if you would like to rerun to listen to again this workshop, by all means that you can actually download and watch it again. So this is what I would like to tell you. Don't worry about too much about it. And I'm your host. I'm Troy Gig, based in Singapore. I'm the business development for Asia. And Valid, he is our global pre-sales engineer. He will be our presenter and also I'll call it instructor to teach you on to share with you the knowledge on how to make full use of this content connector. Okay, so in this workshop, you were able to learn about the content connector, it's an index profile, and also capable compatible storage media options, which is in terms of the agenda, we have quite a long list that which is we will cover today. For example, how can we make use of a content connector for PDF and barcode data extraction, and also how can we actually extract the data from the customer invoices without the script, with the script, and also the XML data extractor, and of course listening to the data, the email mailbox, and also able to integrate with cloud. So there are many more that Walid will share with us today. So before we go to the end, last slide. So I will pass this patent to Walid, and he will able to share his screen. So in order to continue his presentation. So let me stop my sharing. And Walid, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. I need to, yeah, perfect. I can share my screen now. Hello, everyone. I hope you are doing well. Thank you for joining to this session. Let me do this. Okay, now I'm ready. Let's begin. And Shagek, thank you for the presentation. So I have something I will not talk about. So that part you already did it. Perfect. So I'm your speaker. For those who don't know who I am, I'm the pre-sale engineer for Zafar Corporation, and my job role consists to respond to pre-sale requests all over the world. The agenda today is in three parts. What is a content connector? So I will do a short introduction about the content connector. After that, I will talk about different indexing profile useful with the content connector. I will maybe not have the time to explain everything with the content connector, but just the useful parts. And the last thing will be the description of the different storage media compatible with the content connector. Okay, let's begin with the introduction about this webinar. This webinar is to understand the interest of the content connector and learn how to use its different functionality. What is the content connector? So the Therefore content connector is used to automatically save information to Therefore. It can monitor input folder, mailbox, and even an e-signature account. How it works. There is a service to be installed on the servers that allows you to recover your data and documents automatically. The configuration of an indexing profile is necessary to extract the desired data, and this profile must then be attached to a media storage to get the information. The solution designer is used to configure the content connector, and the therefore console allows to supervise the activity related to the content connector. About the license, you need therefore 9 or Workgroup Business and Enterprise Edition, and the content connector license, of course. Okay, let's talk about the indexing profiles, and I will do the demo. We will first talk about the file profile. The file profile is useful for extracting information from a file, different type of file. It can be a PDF and also a barcode data extractor. There is XML data extractor and there is text line data extractor. Let me show you how it works. Before the demo, just two things to say. I will use a specific project. I will explain quickly. During the demo, if you have any question, please don't hesitate. After each part, I will answer all the questions. And the last thing is, because we will talk about scripting a little bit, you will see there will be error. It's normal to have error, but I want to show you how to debug those error, because when you will do script, you will have error. And my goal here is to show you how you can debug and how you can use script and you can solve it by yourself. Okay. So let's begin. First of all, let me present a little bit the project I will use. So the project I will use is the project process. In the process project, I will, let me stop it. Okay, I will use the invoice and the process is composed of 5 categories: the process request, the order form, the delivery note, the invoice, and the contract. I will use the invoice to integrate some invoice into this category. And I will also, because I use the referential inside the project, like the item, if I go in the purchase request, I have a list of items here. And because I use therefore 9, my list of items is inside a category, the items category. So I will also use the items category, and I will show you how to add automatically and how to update this list. Okay, let's begin now with the file profile. So in the Surfer Solution Designer, you can easily use the indexing profile, and to create a file profile, right-click and new file profile. When you will open the file profile, you will first write a name. So I will extract data from, I want to extract data from my invoice MoyaWare, okay? And I would like to get the date, the invoice number, the order number, and the amount in this case. Of course, I can add more field, but for this webinar, I want those data, okay? So how I can do that? Okay, I can use the PDF data extractor or the barcode data OCR data extractor. The PDF data extractor is only possible if your PDF is a text PDF. If you use a PDF with an image, you cannot use the PDF data extractor. You have to use the barcode OCR data extractor. The PDF data extractor is more reliable because the text is in the code of the PDF, and the barcode OCR data extractor is just watching the image and try to get the data from the image. So if you have artifact, if the document is not clean, you will have issue to get the data. So in my case, it's a text PDF. If you want to check if it is a text PDF or an image, you can just select something inside. If it works like this, it means it's a text PDF. If it doesn't work, it's an image inside and you cannot use a PDF extractor. So let's begin. PDF data extractor. First, I have to select my sample. So my example will be my invoice. Here is my invoice. And now I want, as I said, to get the information inside the invoice. To do that, I just need to put a box inside the document, put a name. So that one is the invoice date. After that, the invoice number here. And when you will do that, if you want to check if the information is correctly is correct, if the box is correct, you have the information on the bottom you see here. And if, for example, I write a little box here, you see I don't have the information. It means I need to upper my box like this, and now I have the information. I have the column. I don't need that, so I will just reduce a little bit. That's it. And now invoice number, okay, and order number, and the last is the amount here. Okay, let's test to see what happens. As you see, I can have all the information from my invoice. It's perfect. But in my invoice, I have in fact 3 invoices. It's a batch of 3 invoices in my PDF. And I want to get the 3 invoices. To do that, I need to specify a separator to say it's a new document. When you see this information, it's a new document. In my case, I will not use the invoice number because I know if the invoice number is different from each page, it means it's a new invoice. So to do that, just go in invoice number and you can add a document break. The document break is on the change. So when the invoice number change, it will add a new document. It will check, it will, in the system, you will see it will add a new line for a new document. And here I have my 3 pages and 1 page per invoice, in fact. I can also use in this, for example, this tag, and I can say, so this one can be my separator, and I can say, if you see the value invoice, you will do a document break. If, for example, the invoice number not changed, but it's a new invoice on the second page, you can use a separator like this, and it will work as the same way. Okay, and that's it. Now let's do the mapping between your extractor and your category. So all the script I will write is in Visual Basic script. Okay, so I will change the here in Visual Basic, put a name, where invoice, and the category here. My category is in webinar, or I think it's I let it in this. Yes. Invoice, perfect. And I will just put the currency, the invoice status, and the invoice type to 1. And now I will just link the data from my extractor and my indexes. To do that, here I have all the data from my extractor, and you see there is a name extractor. If you don't want to use the name extractor but want to use your name, you can change the name of the extractor here. Put my extractor, for example. Okay, and now if I go in here, invoice number, I have the invoice date here, the amount is here, and the order number here. Okay, let's see what happened. I think I will have error, but let's check. Yes, I have an error. So as you can see, the three lines are here, but there is a red mark. It, this red mark is because there is something happened. There is an error that happened. I can check inside my category to check what happened, and here I can see there is no amount, and because in fact the system cannot translate the amount from my invoice and to a float value. I just need to write a little script here, and you see there is also the red mark from on the invoice amount, and I can see the error. The error here is failed to convert 50.00 to a decimal field. So I have to do it by myself. To do it by myself, in the object I have several objects, and there is two float, which is really useful. You have to use a number. The first parameter is what you want to convert. So I want to convert the data from my extractor amount. And this is the format of your number. And the format of my number is numeric dot float. Because there is a dot separator, I have to specify this to set this in the script. And if I do that, now I don't have any error. And if I do test, as you can see, no error and everything works. Okay, this is the first part about the file profile, but if I want to extract the barcode from my file profile, I can also combine two extractors. So I can select also a barcode extractor, select my sample, my invoice. For the barcode, I just need, so I will zoom a little bit. I can just double click on the barcode. You will find the barcode type, put the value on the bottom. I can write barcode value. I can also add a document break, etc. if you want. And here it's barcode extractor. Okay. And now I can put the barcode extractor somewhere in the document. So for example, I will put it in the description here. And you see there is the data extractor object and the from my barcode extractor and the data extractor object from my extractor, the first one. So here I just need to put the barcode value and that's it. Okay. And you see there is even if there is here an error, here I have my correct barcode. Okay, let's talk a little bit about scripting. So I will just delete this one and I will show you something really interesting. If, for example, you want, you don't know where is the date, the invoice and the order number, the invoice number and the order number, you can put a big box here, put an item name, so it will be my data, my invoice data. Okay, and now I will use script to get the data, the invoice number and the date. Okay, two really good script for that. I will not go here for the moment. I will try to get the invoice number. To get the invoice number, so I will delete that one. I will write a script. Okay, let's open this just to show you, and I will copy this into the field. There is a really good method. The method is, I think it's in object. Let me check. Yes, the read part function is very useful because the read part, with the read part, you can read in a lot of in a data with a lot of information. You can just specify what you want to read. In my case, I want, if I open my invoice, I want to get the information after invoice column and before order, and the read part will be useful to do that. So let me explain how the read part works. You have to put here the data you want to use and where you want to extract the data, and the mask is the mask to extract the data from my invoice data, from the data I have. So here I want to extract the data from I want to extract the data which is I want to extract the data before invoice. The question mark is the data I want to extract, and so after invoice, sorry, and before order. If I write this, the square is no matter what is before invoice, I want to extract the data before invoice column and after invoice column and before order, and no matter what is after order. I don't care about this information, just to extract this data. Let's see what happens. You will see. I'm not sure it will work in the first time, but let's see, and I will show you how to debug it. You see, I don't have the correct value here. Why I don't have the correct value? Let me show you. So I will use the description field to extract my my invoice data. And here in my invoice data, there is invoice here on the top and invoice before my my invoice number. So I have to specify. You have to take the second invoice, the second the second word invoice, not the first one. And to do that, I will just say in my read part. So let me here. Here, I will just say, I want to extract something which is after date. After date, there is invoice, and I want to extract something which is after invoice. Okay, so if I put date here, it will take the second invoice word, not the first one, because the first one is before the word date. And now, if I see, you see, I have the invoice number. Let's do a test. And as you can see, I have all the invoice number here and the correct invoice number. So invoice number is correct here. Now, about the date. There is a really good script also you can use. Let me open this. After that, I will answer the question if you are. So this script is very useful to extract data again from another data, and you can use regex to extract the data. So let me. I will create the invoice date in invoice date. So this is to just declare a variable. My variable is env date, okay? And I will assign this variable to my field invoice date, but I need to put a value inside, and the value inside my invoice date is the call of this function. I will just send you the function just after if you want. And the pattern is the pattern, the regex I want to use to extract the data. And the string is the data I want to use. So it's my invoice data. Okay. And let's talk about the regex. This is just a regular expression you have to use. If you want to find a regular expression, you can use Google and try to find a regular expression, or there is a really good way. If you want to find a regular expression, you can open a category. So let me open content connector. In fact, you can open all the category you want, but the category must have a text field. If you open a text field, you have a tab regular expression, and here you can put your regular expression. So for my invoice date, I know the regular expression is decimal decimal slash decimals decimal slash 4 decimal. In fact, it's day day slash month month slash year 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 year. And to do that, I can use this. So digit. You can write like this, or you can also write digit 2. And the 2 is this repetition counter. So I have 2 digits. After I have one character is a slash. I will copy this because I have 2 digits and again a slash, and I have 4 digits. And just here you can test your regular expression. So for example, 1 doesn't match, 1 doesn't match, and it match. You see? And because it match, it means it's a correct regular expression. So let's copy this regular expression, close this, go back in the indexing profile, in the script, and put my regular expression in the script. And now I just need to call this invoice date in my invoice date here. So I will just call my variable. In fact, you can also do this. You can also just copy this and put this here. But if you do this, in fact, if you write a script and a variable, it's better to see correctly the script, in fact, because here you have to open this, you have to check inside this, what is inside, etc. With the script, you have a complete window to see what happened. And just last thing, if you have an error like this, you can right click and show the error and see what happened. And the error you can see here, get reg match is not compatible. He cannot, he don't know what is this. So let me here. Okay, I will copy this in my field. And now let's do a test again. Moya invoice. And as you can see, there is the invoice date inside my my field, so that it works. And the last thing is, because this supplier, I know this supplier, I will just write inside the supplier my in hard inside the. I don't need an extractor, so I will write Moyaware here, because I know the invoice I want to extract is the invoice from Moyaware. And now if I do a test again, I have all the information I need to the supplier, etc. Okay, and that's it. That's the file profile. What you can do with the file profile. Okay, let's answer the first batch of questions. Let me check if you have any question. Oh, there is no question as far as I see. Oh, perfect, no question. I hope it's clear. If not, you can ask your question if you want. Let me now talk about the mail, not the mail, sorry, the XML. So that one is finished. Let's try to do another So webinar XML. Okay, for this webinar XML, I want to extract data from an XML. If you want to do this, I will show you the XML I have. Okay. I have this XML. So I have my document, and in my document, I have all the data inside a tag. And I can also have something like file name and the emplacement of my file, for example. And I will show you how you can do that, because in fact, if you don't put any information about where is your file linked to those data, you will have an empty document, okay? Or the XML. But if you want to assign a file to those data, you have to specify somewhere where is the file in order for the system to find the file, okay? So for on my side, I have those information. I have in the invoice type specific type, and in my case, it's an invoice if the invoice type code is 380. It's a credit note if it's 381. And the invoice date have a specific format, as you can see, year, first, month, and day. So I want to get those data from my XML. Let's close that one. To do this, I need to select XML data extractor and select template invoice. Here, I need to select the parent tag where there is the information. The parent tag is document, and the document contains all the tag I need to get. Here, the name of my extractor, so XML extractor. You can let the name, the default name, because the default name will be extractor and it works well also. Turn to VB script, category, let me select the invoice category again. Sorry, it's not here, it's here. Here, content connector, purchase, invoice. And now, let me assign all the data. You see, there is all the data from my from the tag below the parent tag. So that one is the invoice number. I will not assign all the tag, but just the tag invoice date and invoice type here. Okay, let's see what happened. Template invoice. As you can see, there is an error because invoice type number is 380. So in my invoice type, I have nothing, of course, because 380 is not an ID of my keyword list. The ID of my keyword list is 1 for invoice and 2 for credit note. And the invoice number is okay, but the invoice date here is not okay. We don't know what is invoice date here. So let's do a little translation of the invoice date first. Another method really useful, like to float, is to date. To date, again, you have to specify the date you want to translate. So I want to translate this date and the format. And my format here is year, month, day. And if I say that to the system, it will know the correct format of the date from my invoice, and it will be able to translate it to the correct format. And here you see no more error for my invoice date. I have my invoice date here. Last is the invoice type. So here, as you can see, it's 380, but I want to translate 380 to 1 because 1 is the ID of my keyword invoice, and 2 if it's 381 to translate to credit note. I will show you how to create a function. You will see it's really easy. Function, the name of your function, so it can be everything you want. So get invoice type, ID. Okay. You can set a parameter inside. Here I will not set a parameter inside, and I will close my function first. Inside my function, I will write a script. The script, first I will create a variable. My variable is invoice type code, and I will assign to invoice type code the invoice type code from my XML. And now I will say if invoice type code equal 380, then I want, when I call this function, so the return of this function is 1. Else, the return of this function is 2. And if. And that's it. So the script is very clear. If invoice type code is 380, I want to go to get the ID 1. And when I will call this function, the return of this function will be 1. Else it will be 2. Now I just need to call this function here instead of put directly the wrong data. And as you can see, it's 1. If I open the test and I check here, you see it's an invoice. So it works. And if 380 is not 1, it's a credit note. 380 it's a credit note. I can put 2 instead of 1 just to show you what happened. Test. And now it's a credit note. So with this script, you can directly translate specific data to another one. It works perfectly here for the invoice type, but you can have more case, in fact. The last will be, so I will not talk about the PDF A3. In fact, the PDF A3 work like the XML data extractor, so, but let me just show you quickly what you have to do. And I think I have a bug in my demonstration, in my demo station, so I have to update my demo station, but I will just show you what you have to do. Here, put the PDF data extractor, select the PDF A3. So here it is a PDF A3. Let me open it to show you. It is a PDF A3 because I have an attachment here, you see, and I have the XML as an attachment in my invoice. Close. Yes. So I will open that one, and I have to specify there is an attachment. So I will add attachment. I will write it's a XML inside, but you can write everything you want. And I have to specify the name of that attachment. So it's factor X. And after that, I can extract the data from the XML if I use that button. But here, normally, I have the XML because of there is an issue with my station. I don't have it, but in your case, you will have the XML here. And after that, you can extract the data like a classic XML inside the category. That's it about the XML data. Let's talk about the CSV. So if you have a flat file like the CSV and you want to import data from a CSV, so here I have the list of items here with all the reference, etc. And I want to import all the list automatically into my item category. So into my item category, I have the same field, reference, description, unit price, currency, and customer, but don't take care about customer. And here you see there is all the, so let me delete that one, it's not correct. So I have all the items, and I want to import all the items automatically or update all the items automatically. I need to create a profile for this file. So let me show you how to do this. You will use text line data extractor, select item ing, and now you have to specify the separator. So for my CSV, the separator is a semicolon. So here you see this is a semicolon, and I can, if I write the delimiter, I have the first row that appears. So the first row is the description of each column. So reference here. What is this? Unit price, description, and currency. If I do a test now, I have only the first row because I have to say what is the separator, like the PDF. The separator for me is a reference. When the reference change, it's a new document. So here, I will just add a document break on change. And now, if I do a test, I have all the information from my CSV. But I don't want this information because this is the header and just the description of each column. So I have just to skip the first line, and that's it. Now I can assign to the category items the data I want. So reference, description, unit price, and currency. And let's do a test in my item. Okay, that will take a little time because there is 200 lines. So during this time, I will continue the webinar to talk about the second topic on the extractor, and we will just go back to this, okay? Okay, do you have any question? So far as I see, no question here, and no question. I hope it's clear. If you don't have any question, let's continue about the email profile. So the email profile is useful for extracting information from an email. And with the script, you can also extract data from the PDF attachment. This is really a good feature because you can monitor a mailbox and just take the attachment and use an indexing profile to read the attachment and to import the attachment into the correct category. Let me show you how to use the email profile. So, and here you see all the lines are inside my category here. So let me cancel that one. Okay. So if you want to create an email profile, you can right click and create an email profile. But the best way, in fact, if you want to create an email profile, is to use the Outlook component. Therefore, Outlook component is this command. Okay, let me reduce a little bit. Okay. So therefore, here, this is really useful because you can directly test your profile on your email. For example, I want to test my profile on this email. I can directly create the profile and I can directly test the profile on this. So email profile invoice aware. I think I don't need to put email profile invoice aware. And here I will select again my category, project, come on, not project, webinar, email, command connector, invite. And here I just, VB, I can put the subject. In fact, there is a list of macro you can use. The list of macro is below the mail object, and there is the message ID, the sender, the subject, the body, etc. So you can easily take the data you want, and you can also use a script like create part or get regex in order to get the data from the subject. For example, I want to extract invoice number, I can use read part, and it will work perfectly to get the data into the subject, okay, into the body, okay, and that's it. There is nothing here, there is nothing more. So let me just put body, not in currency because it will not be a good example, but in description here. And as you can see, I can directly check what is inside the body. I can directly test it from my email, etc. You see? So if you want to use an email profile, you can use the Outlook complement. It will be very useful. Now let's talk about how to use a script to extract the data from an attachment. So I think I have already something here, email from Moya. Okay. So this profile is an email profile. And here, as you can see, there is no category assigned to this email profile because I don't want to take the email. I just want to take the attachment of the email. And I have a little script really useful. And the script will check the attachment, and for each attachment, it will execute the profile. So this is the name of the profile. So it can be Moya where env on each attachment. Moya where, and that's it. So if you use this profile on an email, it will work perfectly. And I think just after I will explain. Oh, there is not a lot of time, but I will show you how to extract directly an email from a mailbox. And that's it, nothing else on this. Okay, say it will change, okay. Okay. Again, I think that, oh, there is question, perfect, let me check. Using a text line extractor, is it possible to import only new lines from a saving to a category inline line items that don't already exist? Yes, you can do this. In fact, in my category items here, in fact, you just need to put an ID as a unique ID to say, okay, if this ID exists, it means you have to do something else. So here you have to put as a mandatory and unique. And in the profile, import items here. Here you have to say skip document, I think. Yeah, skip document. If you do this, if you find the reference, if you find the reference in the items category, you will just skip the document and check the next one. Okay, so you can do this like this. Okay. So multiple attachment with different index is supported. No, multiple attachment with different index. Yes, in fact, in the script, if you know the first attachment is for one profile, the second one is for another one, you can write your own script to do that. Yeah, it will work. But you have to be sure the first attachment, or you can have after that test the name of the attachment. So if the first attachment has the name or contains the name, something in the name, you apply a specific profile. So yes, you can do this for multiple attachments. The only thing which is not supported is if you want to add a document break into the attachment, it will not work. You will only have the first invoice. For example, in my case, in my Moyara invoice, I have 3 pages. Only the first one will be taken account with my script, not the 2 other. This is a limitation with the script. You cannot use a document break with the invoice number, for example. Okay. So with the CSV, it will not work because it will only take the first item, and I think it's not something you want. So multiple, okay. Is there anywhere we can find the commands like get attachment? There is a white paper using script with an indexing profile. I think this is inside. And I will ask the media team to update and they already said me they will update this document. So you will find the script I use here in this document when they will have time to update the document. Is it a therefore command or generic VB script? I think it's a generic VB script, the get attachment. But I'm not sure about this, but I think it's a generic. But you can also translate all the code I use in JavaScript if you want to use JavaScript, of course. And I got only problem about to convert that time format or to type format or time. I think it works perfectly, so that time. In fact, you have to use a string with the correct format and it will be translated correctly. But if you want to see that, we can talk about this after the meeting if you have this problem. I think everything is translated. Is answered, sorry. So let's talk now about the. I will just talk quickly about the e-signature profile. So with the e-signature profile, you can. In fact, the signed document profile is useful for retrieving signed documents right on an e-signature platform. But as I said, one top webinar on the subject is necessary to talk about all the things in this topic. So just for your information, I have a demo here, e-signature. So you have to create signed document profile, and with the signed document profile that you will see it's a classic profile, but in fact you can select the category you want to use. So my category is contract, and where you want to get the data. And after that, you can also change the status here. The status is contract signed. It means when the document will come back from the e-signature platform, it will automatically check the signed contract. And that's it. You need after that to use the content connector here and use signature monitoring to assign the profile here, the profile to a context, and the context is something you have to set in the workflow when you will send the contract or the document into the e-signature platform. Not talk about this. If you want a demo, I can do it after, or Shagek also can do it. Let's talk about the storage media. There is 1 minute left, but I will try to let's see what happens. So watching folder with the on-premise, you can extract data from a folder on the server. With Zephyr 9, Zephyr provides an FTPS for the folder service scanned by the content connector. The information of the FTPS is communicated in the license information related to the tenant if you have purchased the content connector license, of course. And with both, you can retrieve data from cloud storage as Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, and Box. So let me show you quickly what you can have as an info. So normally, if you receive your license and you order the content connector license, you will have something like this. To connect to the content connector FTP, you have to use those information. And the best way to access to this FTPS is to use FileZilla client or another client and put the information. So I have the information already here. And you will see here the data, the folder and the data inside your FTPS. And after that, you can create the folder you want to use, the error process, etc. So in my case, I've created the items folder, and I want to catch the items list from my CSV and process the item CSV file. For this, it's really easy. Here, let's create an input folder. I think I have this one I can show you. Not this one, sorry. I will create a new one. Import items to work. So here, if you, in Zephyr9, if you select local network, it will be related to your Zephyr9 FTPS. You cannot watch another folder than your Zephyr9 FTPS, okay? You can only also use a new cloud storage, but that's it. So a cloud storage or your FTPS. With Zephyr Promise is a local drive on your server. After that, you have to put the name of your folder, so items here, and here you have to assign a profile to your folder. So my profile is import item, Excel file, or import item, for example. You can use a filter. So my filter is CSV. And after that, if I do that, I have to put, if I want to move the file process in the process folder, I have to specify a process folder. For all the error, I have to specify an error folder. And the polling interval can be changed to 1 minute if you want. And if you doesn't check the do not process file without a matching profile, if a PDF come inside the items folder, it will be automatically put in the error folder. If you check this, it will just be inside the items folder, and there will be nothing appear for this file. Now let's talk quickly about the mailbox monitoring, and I want to show you what happens if I send an invoice into as an attachment into a specific mailbox. So for the mailbox monitoring, you have the Exchange Online, Exchange On-Premise, Gmail, and IMAP. But for Gmail, you can also use IMAP for. In fact, Gmail need a client ID and client secret, and the client ID and client secret can be found in the Google console. So you have to create a new project in the Google console and generate the client ID and secret. But you can also use the IMAP for. You have to specify the mailbox you want to use with the password. The imap.gmail.com is for Gmail. 993 for Gmail again, and the folder here. The folder is the label. So if I open now quickly my Gmail here, I have my Gmail here, as you can see. And if you want to use this mailbox with the mailbox monitoring, you have to go in Manage your Google account and activate the less secure app access. Be sure this is to on. If not, it will not work. Okay, you will see nothing appear in the with your mailbox. So be sure this is to on. Allow less secure apps. If not, it will not work. And now I will send from my wallet.trouble. So my mailbox here a new invoice to therefore.presales. New invoice Moyaware, add the Moya invoice as an attachment, new invoice, and you will see. So the subject and the body is not really necessary because you just need the attachment here. If I send now the invoice, in my Gmail, I just did something. I just specify a rule to redirect all the mail from my wally.travelcy@therefore.net into the correct folder, the folder. Oh, I'm not in the correct mailbox. Sorry, here is my the correct. So I redirect the wally.travelcy into the label invoice Moyaware. So invoice Moyaware. And now if I want to check what happened with the content connector, I can use the console, therefore console here. And in therefore console, you have a specific window, content connector view, and you will see what happened in this with the process. And here you see new invoice, Moyaware, wally.travelcy@therefore.net. No. And you can see if it is a faulty, if it is correct, etc. So let's see if it works for that. Oh, it works, perfect. I'm not really surprised, but and now if I open the invoice category, here is my invoice. So invoice created 7:36, so it's my time. And if I check the invoice, the index data, you can see all the index are correct in amount, the date, etc., the invoice number. And if I open now my attachment, you will see, as I said, the break will not work. So I have only one document, but 3 invoices inside my document. And only the first one is processed. So be sure when you send an attachment, it will be one invoice, for example, or one document per attachment, not a batch of document. And in the console, you can see you have the message, the email is processed. Okay, that creates a doc number 880. If you have a faulty thing, if, for example, your profile is not correct, you can correct your profile, double click on your on the line where there is a problem, and here you can retry. So you can see the error, and you can just click on retry, and that will select the line retry, and that will retry the profile on your document. One invoice or one document, yeah, it can be something else. Here in my in the project, it's an invoice, but it can be something else. And I think that's it. I just, let's see, mailbox material. Yeah, that's it. Everything here. Just if you want to see the, I didn't talk about the cloud storage because it's the same than a classic file profile. You just need to configure a cloud storage, and the cloud storage, just select the cloud storage you want to use to the authentication here, and that's it. You click on OK, and after that, you can just specify the folder you want to check in your cloud storage and the profile you want to use, and that's it. Nothing else. Okay, let's see the questions, and we will close the session. Okay. So multiple sources. Is it possible to not import attachment from email with subjects that start with R? Of course. In fact, you just in the script you will say if mail.subject start. I think you have a VB script to say to check the start, or contain. You can use contain. Contain is ENSTR. So in my email for Moyaware here, I can write something like and mail dot body, I think it's ENSTR mail dot body, so it's RE or like this, or like this. And is FW. So if you write something like this, it will not save the attachment if there is RE or FW. Just be sure about this. I'm sure about this function, but I'm not sure if the parameter, if this is the first one, etc. But you can find easily this method in with Google. So in Google, you can write enstr or contain VBS, and you will see the method and the parameter you have to use here. Start string, start compare. So I think it works in my case. Okay, okay. I think there is no more question. So thank you very much for your participation. I hope it was clear and it brings you more features, more idea to use the content connector. I will let Shogik close this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Khalid, for the very insightful information. And then I'm very sure that all the participants have definitely learned a lot from you and even myself. So I hope all of you have a good time learning from him. And all the questions that which is you have posted, we also have answered them. And I also have put some info over at the Q&A and over at the chat as well. So you do not have any further questions, we would like to end this session. And for those who have not subscribed to our newsletter, please do so. And maybe I will just share with you how does it look like. Okay, let me take over the presenter. Okay. Right, so. Okay, so for those who have not subscribed to our newsletter, we would like you to do so that when we have any webinar, we have any workshop, so that you will be able to know that we have some activities going on. And let's stay in touch. And right, there's nothing else that we would like to cover for this session. And thank you so much for all your participation and all your contribution. Thank you. Stay stronger together. See you again. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye-bye, Khalid.